In the pursuit of peace, alliances, and interest, Western policymakers tend to sacrifice perplexing Middle East reality on the altar of oversimplification and wishful thinking, which has fueled regional fires. According to the Lebanese-born professor Fouad Ajami, former director of Middle East Studies at Johns Hopkins University, in his book, The Arab Predicament, Middle East reality constitutes a chronicle of illusions, despair, and politics repeatedly degenerating into bloodletting. Iraqi-born professor Eli Keduri, London School of Economics, one of the leading Middle East historians, wrote in his book Islam in the Modern World, political terrorism in the Muslim and Arab world has a somewhat old history which would not be easy to eradicate from the world of Islam. Egyptian-born Professor P.J. Vatikiotis from the London University School of Oriental and African Studies, an icon of Middle East history, wrote in Arab and Regional Politics in the Middle East, the use of terrorism by Arab rulers has been for domestic, regional, and international political purposes. There is an unbridgeable gap between them and all other social and political arrangements. The dichotomy between the Islamic and all other systems of earthly government and order is clear, sharp, and permanent. It is also hostile. The assumption that the Arab tsunami is a temporary mishap, which could be cured by a constitutional panacea, is detached from Middle East reality. Most of the Arab rage has been directed towards Arabs and was introduced long before the 2010 eruption of the current Arab tsunami. 2 million Sudanese were killed and 4 million displaced during the 1983-2011 genocidal civil war. The West Pakistani massacres in East Pakistan, Bangladesh, totaled 1.25 million in 1971, 200,000 deaths in Algeria's civil war in 1991-2006, 1 million deaths in the Iran-Iraq war of 1980 through 1988, 300,000 Muslim, Shia, and Kurdish killed by Saddam Hussein. 200,000 Lebanese were killed in internal violence during the 1970s and 1980s. 80,000 Iranians killed during the Islamic Revolution. 25,000 deaths in Jordan during the 1970-1971 civil war. 20,000 killed in 1982 by Hafez Assad in Hama. Some 11 million Muslims have been violently killed since 1948, of which only 35,000, 0.3%, died during the Arab wars against Israel, or 1 out of every 315 fatalities. Public executions and decapitations are still regularly held in Iran and Saudi Arabia. The deep roots of contemporary Middle East Islamic violence are highlighted by Professor Ephraim Karsh, head of Middle East and Mediterranean Studies at London's King's College, editor of the Middle East Quarterly and author of his latest book, Islamic Imperialism, A History. According to Professor Karsh, in the long history of the Islamic Empire, the wide gap between delusions of grandeur and the forces of localism would be bridged time and again by force of arms, making violence a key element of the Islamic political culture. The result was a legacy of oppressive violence that has haunted the Middle East from the 7th century into the 21st century. A key lesson to U.S. policymakers was delivered by Professor P.J. Vatikiotis. American choices must be made on the assumption that what the Arab want or desire is not always, if ever, what Americans desire. In fact, the two desires may be diametrically opposed and radically different. Western interest and the pursuit of peace would be dramatically enhanced should Western policymakers adhere to Middle East reality and heed the teachings of Professors Ajami, Karsh, Vetikiotis, and Keduri, learning from history by avoiding, not by repeating, costly errors.